Welcome to Sports Geek Throwback. Here's your host, the sports geek himself, Sean Callanan.
G'day, I'm Sean Callanan from Sports Geek and welcome to Sports Geek Throwback, where I pick out the best bits from the Sports Geek podcast archive. For this week's Sports Geek Throwback, I go back to episode 183 with Jeremy Loeliger, recorded in February 2018. Jeremy was the CEO of the NBL at the time we recorded. He is now the commissioner of the NBL, which is seeing attendance and TV ratings grow year on year. Remember, if you need help with your team, reaching fans, optimising your digital platforms, but really drive more revenue, that's what we do at Sports Geek. We apply the digital to dollars process to help your team bring in more revenue from your digital efforts. Please get in touch. In this throwback episode, Jeremy and I discuss the NBL's partnership and collaboration with the NBA, which has flourished since our conversation, with success stories like LaMelo Ball and Josh Giddey on the court, and content and streaming collaborations off the court, helping the NBL grow. Remember, you can listen to the full episode at sportsgeekhq.com/183. Enjoy.
The important thing from a basketball hoops fan is, yes, you can be following the NBA, but if you want to go to a game and see a game live, the NBL product is the product in front of you, and aligning, the entertainment, the innovation, the stuff that Melbourne United done with the open air games, which is, a phenomenal experience with the roof opens and it's a nice Melbourne night, that kind of thing. It just starts making that connection a little bit stronger.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And what rounds that all out is the flow of players between the two leagues as well. And we're encouraging that. People often say, if you lose a player to the NBA, is that a red mark in your column? No, it's quite the opposite.
It's a success.
That's a huge success for us, because the more players going from the NBL to the NBA, the more attraction the NBL has both to domestic and international viewers, and we will do everything we can in the next 12 months to encourage more players to the NBL to use it as a stepping stone to the NBA. And we have come leaps and bounds in terms of making this league a credible interim step, I guess, between whether it's high school in the NBA, between college in the NBA if you're not drafted, and Torrey Craig's a really good example there, between college and the NBA if you are drafted and stashed, and I guess someone like a Jordan McRae is a good example there. Yep. We're doing everything we can to emphasise that we are the destination of choice for those kinds of players.
And so that relationship, and you briefly discussed it earlier around the preseason games where NBL teams played NBA teams. What kind of how long has that relationship and taken to develop? What have you and Larry done to strengthen those ties with the NBA to say, this is what we're doing, this is our plan, sort of selling that dream that you did early on, but also selling it to the NBL on both the game development piece, but then all that player piece? How long has that taken to develop?
Look, it's taken a good 2 years from when we took over to re-establish the commercial bona fides of the league, and I think that's where we'd been lacking in the past. There were plenty of people here with basketball smarts, but the league had never been in the hands of people who were prepared to take a risk, operate it as a business, put their money where their mouth is, and underwrite the success of the thing. And I think once they saw a willingness to do that, the NBA were willing to talk turkey with us. Now, the first real step that we made in, I guess what you'd say is the right direction, was hosting Basketball Without Borders Asia. Yep. It was the first time that Australia had really been considered as a destination city for Basketball Without Borders for all of Asia. It was a huge success. The players and coaches from the NBA loved coming here. All of our guests who were young, basically 17-year-old players from around Asia, loved coming here. And we put on a really professional demonstration of just what the NBL is all about now. And I think that was a really significant turning point in the relationship for the NBA and the NBL. And then I think the next one was... it was All-Star Weekend in 2017, which was New Orleans. when we were talking with a number of NBA clubs and the NBA about prospects of NBA teams coming to Australia, which is a long, slow grind.
Yep.
And we were meeting with the general manager of the Utah Jazz at the time. I remember it very, very clearly, actually, because it was Michael Jordan's 50th birthday and he was sitting about 2 tables down, and I was trying very hard to concentrate on the conversation at hand and not be a bit of a fanboy and get distracted.
Yep.
Meeting with the GM of the Utah Jazz about how we can work together in the future. And the NBA has a lot of interesting rules about restrictions on marketing outside of your home territory.
Yeah, definitely.
So an NBA club is not allowed to do anything particularly innovative or proactive outside of a 75-mile radius of their hometown. And so they were saying, well, we need to go and talk to the league, but we'd like to explore the idea of playing a preseason game against one of your clubs. Do you think there's a club who could come over and play against us? And Larry and I thought this was Christmas and said, whatever we have to do, we will make it work. You tell us a date. And we'll go and talk to the NBA at our point of contact. You go and talk to the NBA at your point of contact, and let's hope that they find each other internally.
Yep.
And take it from there. And within literally 48 hours, there were 3 NBA preseason games being discussed. So it had filtered through the NBA. NBA said, yep, we like the idea. We're aware of a couple of other teams who still have some gaps in their schedule. It doesn't seem worthwhile bringing one of your teams over to play just one game and go home. So we think we've found another couple of games for you. And we said, no, we'd really love to share the love, and let's get 3 clubs over here to play those 3 games.
If you like this Sports Geek Throwback episode, please check out the full episode at sportsgeekhq.com. Please share Sports Geek with your sports business colleagues. We appreciate you sharing. We love working with podcast listeners. Please get in touch so we can help your team. Go to sportsgeekhq.com/phone call. All Sports Geek episodes are available at sportsgeekhq.com and all podcast platforms.